Hello dear students. So in the last lecture we studied the external characters of the phyla globosa, wherein we studied the structure of shell, histology of the shell and the body structure which comprises of head, foot and visceral mass. Now in today's lecture we are going to deal with structure of mantle, pilial complex, integument or body wall and locomotion in phyla, that is apple snail. So after completing today's lecture, the study outcomes will be: we should understand the structure of mantle, which is also called as pilial, the structure of mantle cavity and pilial complex, structure of the body wall or integument and locomotion in phyla. So let's begin with the structure of mantle or pilial. So students, we have already come across this word mantle or pilial so many times in previous lectures. So this is nothing but a fold of a skin. Okay, so fold of a skin, which is also called as mantle or pilial or sometimes called as pilium, and it is a protective hood over the animal when it is withdrawn. So when it is withdrawn inside the shell, this mantle gives a second protective layer in the form of a hood over the entire visceral mass. So we know that visceral mass always situated inside the shell, and over which you have this mantle which act as a protective hood like structure. Now this is a very characteristic feature of the molluscans. So you will find this mantle only in the molluscans. Now edge of this mantle is very thick and it contains some specialized glands. These glands are known as shell glands which secrete the shell. So in previous lecture we have discussed that the mantle is responsible for secretion of shell. So how? Because they have the presence of these shell glands. Now after this thick edge of the mantle, there is a small marginal groove like structure called as supramarginal groove. Now we have already studied there are three layers in the shell. So the periostracum layer is secreted by the groove of mantle. So this supramarginal groove, it gives rise to the periostracum layer. Then you have ostracum, which is given rise by the shell glands of the mantle, and the hypostracum layer is given rise by the epithelial layer of the mantle. Okay, so remember these three layers all formed by the mantle by different parts of the mantle. Now in this section of the organism, you can see the visceral mass, the two pair of tentacles, eyes, and here you can see the mantle. Now on either side of this mantle, it is highly contractile pseudopypodium. So here you can see there are two pseudopypodium, that is left and right. So it results into two lobes or the pseudopypodium, that is right one and the left nuchal lobes. It is also referred to as a right or left nuchal lobes, or also referred to as a pseudopypodium. Now this left nuchal lobe is longer than the right nuchal lobe and it forms a tubular respiratory siphon for the aerial respiration. So remember that this left nuchal lobe or pseudopypodium is responsible for the aerial respiration by forming respiratory siphon on the. So the respiratory current enters through this left pseudopypodium and then it comes out through the right pseudopypodium or the nuchal lobe. Okay, now we will come to the next part of the body, that is called as mental cavity, and we will study what is mean by pilial complex. So the anterior part of the body is covered by this mantle, and which forms a large space which is called as a mantle cavity or pileal cavity. This is bounded by dorsally and to some extent laterally by the mantle fold. So this is a fold of a skin which is bounded from dorsally as well as laterally, and its floor, the floor of the mantle cavity, is formed by the dorsal body wall. Now all the many important organs of the body, they lie in this mantle cavity, and it includes the organ of the pileal complex. So what is this pileal complex? We will understand in the coming slides. All these organs are collectively known as pileal complex. Okay, so remember that many organs are present in the mantle cavity, and all these organs together are called as pileal complex. Now we will see which are the organs which are present or as a part of the pileal complex. So the first one is known as epitynia. So this epitynia, if you see, it is present from the base of right nostril lobe. So here it is starting from this base of right nostril lobes, and it extends to the posterior end of the your mantle cavity, and thereby it divides it into two unequal parts. So what are these two unequal cavities are now known as branchial chamber, which is present at the right, and the large left chamber which is known as pulmonary chamber. Now we move on to the second major organ of this pileal complex, that is known as pulmonary sac, or simply it is known as lung. So here you can see this pulmonary sac is a large air containing sac or a bag like structure, and it is hanging from roof of the pulmonary chamber, and it opens to the outside by a opening. That opening is called as pulmonary aperture or pneumostome. Okay, so if we see, this pulmonary sac is a air containing sac, or it functions like the lung of the animal. The third important organ of the pila present in this pileal complex is known as osphradium. So here you can see a small leaf-like structure which is oval in shape. It is called as osphradium, and if you could see its position, it is attached to the base of this pulmonary chamber and at the base of your nostril lobe, that is left nostril lobe or the pseudopypodium. Now we move on to the fourth important organ of pileal complex, that is known as ctenidium or gill. So here you can see this ctenidium or gill, which is a lamellar organ and hanging from the mantle at the extreme right side of branchial chamber. So here it is lamellated in structure and hanging from the extreme right of your branchial chamber. The next organ is rectum, which is nothing but the part of digestive system, and it is situated on the left side of the gill on the floor of branchial chamber, and it opens into the branchial side of mantle cavity. So it opens to the mantle cavity by an aperture which is called as anus, and which is behind the right nostril lobe. So in this picture you can get a more clear view of this ctenidium or gill, epitynia, and this osphradium, left nostril lobe or pseudopypodium, and here the right nostril lobe. Then this pulmonary sac, or also known as lung. Here you can see kidney, which we'll be studying in the next slide. The next part of this system or this pileal complex is genital duct, or also called as vas deferens or vagina. It lies on the left side of rectum with its aperture behind the anus. By aperture we mean the opening of this genital duct. Next organ or the part is anterior chamber of the kidney. Now if we see the structure of this kidney, it is reddish in color and it projects from the branchial chamber near posterior end of epidynia and opens by a small slit-like structure called as renal aperture. Last important organ is the penis and a hypobranchial gland, but these are present only in the male pila. Since we have separate male and female, only in the male you will have the presence of penis and hypobranchial gland. Now this penis arises from edge of the mantle and it is then attached to the genital duct only during copulation. Okay, so this penis arising from the edge of mantle and then it is attached to genital duct only during the copulation process, that is the mating process. This hypobranchial gland is present or situated at the base of the penis. Okay, now we move on to the last part of the topic, that is body wall or integument. So the body wall of the animal, or rather this simple terms we can say the skin of the pila, varies greatly in thickness and it consists of two layers, that is epidermis and dermis. Now the epidermis covering the whole body is made up of single layer of epithelium. So remember that epidermis is made up of single layered epithelium and it contains numerous mucus secreting glands which are unicellular, and these mucus secreting glands are present on the foot. For what purpose? We know that they are responsible for that mucus secretion during the movement or creeping movements. And then there are shell secreting glands which are present on the mantle. So we know that from the mantle the shell is, or the three layers of the shell are formed due to presence of these glands. Along with the secretion of these mucus and shell components, sometimes it can also secrete some pigments and lime. These mucus glands, these are present in abundance on the foot, as well as the shell secreting glands are numerous on the mantle. Now the second layer of the body, that is dermis, is bit complex than the epidermis layer. It includes muscles, fibers and connective tissues. Now it is not clearly demarcated from the underlying tissues and it contains large number of chromatophores. These chromatophores are nothing but the pigment cells. These pigment cells play a role in giving color to the shell. So the dermis consists of connective as well as muscular tissues which merges with the other similar tissues to give rise to the structures that fills the space between the viscera of the body. Now we come to the body cavity or coelom. So we know that coelom is nothing but body cavity. Pila has presence of both coelom and hemocoel. So as like annelids and arthropods, pila belonging to the mollusca has both coelom as well as the hemocoel. Now the coelom or the body cavity is highly reduced. So though coelom is present, but it is very reduced. That means present in very few parts of the body. Like in pericardium, that is the cavity surrounding the heart, and the cavity of the kidney. Only in these two parts you find the presence of coelom. We have already seen that there are many spaces between the connective and muscular tissue that surround the viscera or the main visceral mass of the body. Now this space or the sinuses, they are filled with a blood that constitute what is called as hemocoel. Okay, so this hemocoel is nothing but the liquid part which is filled in these open spaces and sinuses which are present between the connective and muscular tissues surrounding the viscera. This hemocoel is well developed like the arthro. Okay, so now let's come to the final part of today's discussion, that is locomotion in pila. So we have already studied that pila is a very extremely slow moving animal. So the locomotion is very slow and it is brought about by a single massive triangular foot which is ventrally situated. Now this pila globosa or apple snail shows creeping and gliding type of locomotion like planarians, and foot which is present is highly muscular, thick anteriorly, and posteriorly it carries the operculum or lead-like structure. So we have seen the structure of operculum which closes the shell when the animal come across any predators. Inside the foot, now if we see the structure of foot, there are several blood spaces which are scattered among the muscles. So there could be two type of muscles, longitudinal and transverse muscles, and in between them you have these several blood spaces. Now at the time of locomotion, both these longitudinal and transverse muscle come into play. Okay, so there is alternate contraction and relaxation of these two type of muscles which results into the movement of the animal. So due to this alternate contraction and relaxation, there occurs the movement of blood towards the forward direction of the foot. And due to this movement of the blood, there occurs formation of what is called as hydrostatic skeleton. So this hydrostatic skeleton is basically composed of longitudinal and transverse muscles and the blood of the foot. So this hydrostatic skeleton plays a very important role in the locomotion of pila. So due to this relaxation of longitudinal muscles and contraction of transverse muscles, the forward movement of blood takes place and it results into extension of the foot. So the foot is extended out of the body, and simultaneously now the longitudinal muscles of posterior part of the foot, they also contract, so that now the foot is pulled forward. So due to this alternate contraction and relaxation, rippling wave of contraction and relaxation is produced, and that results into the flow of blood over the foot, and a force is generated which carries forward the animal. Okay, so that due to this now the animal can be seen as moving in a form of a gliding movement. Okay, and this results into the slow locomotion of the pila, the characteristic gliding or the creeping movement of the pila. However, rest of the body is always enclosed in the shell and is dragged after it. So we have seen that whenever the animal is moving from one place to another place, only the head and foot comes out of the shell. However, visceral mass always remains enclosed in the shell. So this is all about the locomotion in pila, and how these longitudinal and transverse muscles as well as blood is taking part in the alternate contraction and relaxation, and and that results into formation of a wave, and due to that animal can be moved from one place to the another. However, this locomotion is very slow. So with this we conclude today's lecture. In this today's lecture we studied what is mean by the mantle cavity and filial complex, what is mean by mantle. Then we studied what is mean by body wall or integument. There are two layers present in it, that is dermis and epidermis. Then we studied what is the body cavity. So pila shows presence of both, that is coelom and hemocoel. And finally we studied the locomotion in pila, how the different set of muscles take part in the locomotion of the pila globosa, or commonly known as apple snail. So with this we conclude today's session. Thank you.